Hello, and welcome to Ask the Expert, a series on Building Conversations podcast where STO Building Group experts answer questions from our listeners. I'm your host, Pete Kobelt, Director of Mass Timber Solutions at STO Building Group, and today we're talking about design for manufacturing and assembly, often referred to and abbreviated as DFMA, and how it's reshaping the way we plan, design, and manufacture and deliver mass timber projects. So let's get started. Our first question is, fair enough, what is DFMA and how is it different from traditional building methods? As the name implies, design for manufacturing and assembly. Mass timber components like cross-laminated timber panels and glulam columns and beams and purlins are prefabricated engineered wood components that are built in a factory off-site. And that changes from conventional construction where we're just using individual pieces that are assembled on site. What that design for manufacturing does is also enables us to assemble the building very, very quickly, much, much faster, 20 to 25% faster than traditional building materials. If you think of the simplest analogy of Lego blocks going together to form a tower or a warehouse, each component, which might average, say, 320 square feet, is flown into place into a very specific location in that building. And if you can fly in a panel every 10 minutes, you can build a 250,000 square foot office in 12 or 14 weeks, which is record breaking, and there's real value in that. Question 2, what are the biggest benefits of using DFMA, again, design for manufacturing and assembly on a project? The construction industry is facing an acute and worsening labor shortage in the trades. We're just not producing enough of the next generation trades, sub-trades, key trades, all the trades that report to us as the general contractor or the construction manager on a job. So one of the things that is a benefit in the DFMA and leveraging off-site prefabrication is that we're building these in a factory in a controlled environment, and it reduces the labor requirements on the structural construction on site. It's also faster and quieter, and there's less waste. Also helps remove risk. If we've already built this building in a digital twin and we've deconstructed it and created shop drawings, we know it's going to go together and we know it's going to go fast. So from an owner's perspective and from a contractor's perspective, there's less risk associated with that. On to our third question. How early in the process should teams start thinking about DFMA and who needs to be involved? The earlier the better is the high-level answer. We would prefer to be approached at a concept level before an architect has even started on schematics. We have platforms with third parties, one of which is called the Generate platform, where we can take a concept and model it in timber specific to the manufacturers that we suggest and come up with an erected timber superstructure cost and schedule from concept. And so, historically, owners will go out and they'll hire an architect that they're historically comfortable with. They might hire an engineer. They may be talking about mass timber, but they don't know the process and they don't know how to navigate the path. And so we are putting ourselves in a position to educate and help the clients and the stakeholders navigate the process and put together a world-class team that keeps the team lean. If they hire a traditional architect and a traditional engineer, they're going to find that they need to hire consultants who have mass timber experience. We have a network of partners, strategic and tactical partners, that can do it all. They can be the engineer of record and do the mass timber detailing and design of the connections. And same with the architects. Question 4, can you share an example of a project where DFMA, again, design for manufacturing and assembly, made a difference in delivery or performance of the project? We worked on a 350-acre campus in Arkansas where the ownership wanted all of the office buildings, which is 12 250,000 square foot, give or take, offices out of 100% mass timber. That's a massive commitment. So massive that the ownership, when listening to my forestry sound bites, asked, well, why aren't we doing this here? the projects you're doing at the university, you had to import from Austria because we don't have the infrastructure to support these projects yet. I said, correct. So why aren't we doing this here? You just told us we have 19 million acres of southern pine and we grow 70 tons of wood every 60 seconds, and we could regrow a 250,000 square foot building in 2.5 hours. Long story short, we ended up bringing a $100 million factory to the state of Arkansas to support this campus project that ended up being 2.5 hours from where the factory ended up situating itself. So again, back to the forestry analogy, in the time it takes to ship one truckload of timber from the factory to the job site, just one truck, and we're talking about hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of trucks for this project. In the time it took to ship just one truck of timber from the factory to the job site, the Arkansas forest had already replenished the entire building. This is a good one to wrap up on. So what should clients be asking if they're interested in using DFMA on their next project? I often ask, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you going down the mass timber? Oh, well, it's cheaper. Well, it may not be. Well, it's cool. Okay, but you can't write a business plan around cool. So it's important for me to ferret out what matters to the clients and then educate them and then bring those interests and requirements into a compelling business case for the client. And it helps us, in the worst case scenario, it helps us fail faster and not waste anybody's time. Or it helps us get off to a clean start if they understand all of the implications that going down the mass timber path is. And it really is a commitment. It can't be like, well, we're going to design it conventionally, and then we're going to look at this mass timber thing on the side. That's not a path to success. There has to be a commitment. They have to understand the implications and do their return on investment based on the attributes of the system that we're sharing with them and make a decision. And nowadays, we've gotten sophisticated enough with platforms like Generate and our internal level of sophistication and experience with superintendents and project execs and project managers and leadership in general in ferreting out the projects that are candidates for success versus those that don't make sense. And even the ones that don't make sense, the clients are very thankful that we didn't waste their time, but we don't let them leave without a checklist of what does make sense for mass timber. So we arm them with the information and the knowledge and the experience to say, here's what works. Look at your portfolio, look at your next projects. And if you can check these 6-8 boxes that we've given you, then bring it to us and let us talk to you about it and see if now you do have a candidate because you're armed with the knowledge and the education of the parameters of what makes for a successful mass timber design, delivery, and construction. So that's it for the episode 1 on DFMA. Fantastic questions. Hopefully the response was insightful. Keep them coming. We want to keep this going, and we want to increase the sophistication as we go. And we're constantly adding to our lessons learned book, which is a good thing because we want to keep learning. And we want to keep sharing those lessons learned. And that's what we're going to be talking about in the next episode. So thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.